Welcome to another episode of Face the Bullet, where I like to talk about dogs, preferably your dog and mine. And the breed that I like is Razor's Edge. Um, that could be called an American Bully, considered American Bully, or just Razor's Edge. You know, just Razor's Edge, because how can you consider it an American Bully when American Bully has standards, or not only standards but different classes? Like you got the pocket, the standard, the XL, and the classic. And me myself personally, I like the classic dogs and the standard dogs because I like a more of a pit bull lookish dog. Pit bull looking dog, I like him to be more pit bull. I like to come outside and run around, play with my dog. I like to move. You know what I mean? I'm moving now. I like to move. So me, myself personally, I would be the type of person to like more of a classic style dog. One of the dogs that was bred into the dog was a Bandogg. Bandogg was bred into the dog. And I already asked the question of, because me myself personally, I would breed to a watchdog. I would, because I like the more classic style dogs. And I asked that question: would you breed to a watchdog? And I would really want to know, would you breed to a watchdog, because that's like that's the stock to Razor's Edge. It was always said that he had dogs that fit the stock, that made stock. You pull one way too much, you go to another dog, and you get some that'll help you go the other way. So there were stock dogs there, the Bandogg being one of them, allegedly. And the question is, would you breed to it? It's a bigger dog than most of the 13-inch dogs out here right now. It's a bigger dog. It probably has a different attitude completely than a bulldog would probably have. Because I'm not saying that everybody's breeding to a bulldog, but most definitely the bulldog's been put into the program. Excuse me. The bulldog's been put into the program, and a lot of people wanted the dogs shorter, by all means. And one thing about a bulldog is he's going to do that. That guy right there, he going to pull it off. He going to give you shoulders. He going to give you head. That little round head that I'll be talking about all the time, you're going to get it from him. You're going to get all that from a bulldog or a pug. You'll get all that. So I'm imagining that since you will want the dog shorter, most definitely you wouldn't breed to a Bandogg, or would you? Would you breed back to stock dogs, knowing that your dogs have did what basically the guy who created Razor's Edge said they would do? Start pulling too much from one different strain? Well, when you start getting smaller dogs, you got to see what strain all this is pulling from. Because once you start losing your terrier-like dogs, you already kind of like lost the terrier-like features, allegedly. Because a terrier dog, which is an American Bully, can't be an American Bully if it's not terrier. An American Bully is a terrier dog. Well, the one that Dave created, that was a terrier dog. Razor's Edge. Now we are talking about, I always smile on the Bandogg topic because You know, everybody know what a Bandogg is. He's got some bulldog in there, allegedly. You know, he's got some American bulldog off in there, allegedly. And this is a dog that was bred in the Razor's Edge program. Now, I would be imagining that this was a dog that was bred to give the dog height, because he most definitely would have took away from the head. And then you would have took away from the tail if you'd have continued that. Wait a minute. No, they have longer tails. Some of them. And then they would have been like what? Mostly white. Isn't that what an American Bulldog is? A mostly white dog? They got a lot of white on them with patches, and some of them got a lot of brindle on them. They come fine. You know? This is a American Bulldog who has been bred in the program of a Bandogg to create a Bandogg. So if a Bandogg was to throw you some brindle pups, some piebald pups, you know what I mean? Because it probably wouldn't throw you a try. A Bandogg, you know, they got that American Bulldog in it. And that was mixed allegedly, in the Razor's Edge program. Would you breed back to it, knowing that it was there? Would you breed back to that? Knowing that it was there, you know already it was there. A lot of people in the Bulldog problem with Razor's Edge, I'm not a person that can really just go all the way there like that with the Bulldog thing. But one thing I would say is, I would ask is, what is a Bandogg? Because, Razor's Edge is a dog that has a broken down pedigree. The whole pedigree damn near been broke down. You know what's there. And they ain't even trying to hide the Bandogg that's there. And he's part Bulldog. Would you breed back to that? Would you stick that in your program? If this guy looked at the dog and said, hey, maybe I can take certain features from this dog and put it on this pit bull terrier looking dog over here that I got. Because, I don't know, Paddington wasn't a bad looking dog. She was boxed up. She looked like a pit though. She didn't look like what Cairo looked like. I think she kind of looked, a little better though. When you look at Paddington, she was nice, man. That fine bitch was nice. That was a nice dog. So to each their own on dude, Paddington look better than Cairo? Shit, man. Paddington, when you go look at them pictures, that was a nice dog, man. You know what I mean? That ain't something that you just be quick to say, yeah, he's the winner. Hey, boy, you better look at that picture again. You better look at that dog again. There's some nice staff up in there, some nice pit in there, some nice stuff in there. So there's some nice breeding done right there, man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Get over here. Come on. Golly, these little dogs. You want to go over here and bite the big old dogs. You can't do it. Come on. Almost freaked me out. I only got him just to talk about the things that goes on with this dog. I love to talk about things that goes on with these dogs. I love to see the colors on them because I will talk about the colors and why they are not supposed to be. Would you breed to a Bandogg? Huh? Allegedly, that Bandogg got a little mastiff in it too. That's why it's big. Damn, Razor's Edge got mastiff in it. It's a lot of things that you want to ask about Razor's Edge without being rude. you know, without being rude, because a dog is a dog and his pedigree is his pedigree. And, you know, if this was his makeup, if, if these two dogs came together and made this dog and we call it a Bandogg, right there is a go to breed to it for RE if you wanted to clean something up. Obviously, the dog cleans up. He used it for something. You got to look at the program. He used it for something. You could say he used it for height. You could say he used it for weight. I don't know about the head, because the head would probably have, if that was allegedly a mastiff in there in that program too, then the head on the Bandogg would have had to take from the mastiff, because the head of an American bulldog is, oh man, you don't want to add that to a bully program. You don't. Why would you? It's a smaller head. It's rounder. It looked like his head. Get it? It looked like his head. You don't want that. You don't want that smaller, rounder head. Nope, you don't. So what you want to do is keep it bully. I think that's the reason for that, you know, the people who bred Razor's Edge to keep breeding towards the pit bull look, because all the rest of the dogs were built sloppy. Probably you can't keep breeding a pit bull to a pit bull, because you'll end up with a pit bull. That's why when the watchdog was implemented, you know, there was allegedly said that the Camelot dog came in there. See, that's more pit bull, but you can see how the dog was being built terrier. It was being built terrier. The color wasn't a thing. See, because you probably couldn't put together what colors was going to come out on all these terrier dogs being bred. Paddington was solid. Cairo, he was brindle. So many different looks on Cairo, though, you know. I'm still trying to get a real... See, when I seen him on the Capitol at Washington, D.C., he looked brindle. Wait a minute. That wasn't Cairo. That was Lil Ro. That was Lil Ro. And he himself, too, was brindle. See, you got to look at Edge back in the days when it was brindle. You know what I'm saying? You guys probably didn't get a chance, probably like the new breeders. I know the Edge breeders did. But the new breeders probably didn't get a chance to see the dogs. So if you did, you know, they were some nice looking dogs. Not all of them was big. The big stuff come from California, because I still see a lot of big dogs. A lot of Cali people is offered them presses. They offer them Connie Corsos. Yeah, hurry up and mix, you know. That's in your dog. If he's just too blue and you having blue litters like that and silver litters like that, something happened. Because you wasn't having all that blue inside of a terrier litter. So something happened. Something happened, most definitely. You know, so if, you know, the question is, if you would breed to a Bandogg, you probably possibly should. But I mean, if you got an opportunity, you know, and you don't have a dog that's put together something similar to a Razor's Edge caliber dog. Because there's a lot of breeders out right now. A lot of good breeders, man, that got dogs that resemble Razor's Edge type dogs, but are different strains of dogs. That's why I say you got to know your strains too. Because, well, a lot of y'all do. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of new breeders that just don't know their strains. They'll breed to anything because it has a name. Sometimes you have to know the strain. You know, you got a lot of dogs, man, out here that got the nice Razor's Edge look to them, not the gaudy look. See, I personally wasn't a complete gaudy fan. Not me. I had the opportunity to be around many people who had these dogs. Most of them were Spanish people in Sacramento, California. Most of them were Spanish people that introduced me into Gotti in Sacramento, California. And when I saw Gotti, I was like, damn, this a whole totally different dog, because he was big. He was big. Now, I would imagine that Gotti had Bandogg in him, but I ain't gonna even, that's not right now for me to say, but he was big. He was a big dog, and a lot of people got, to be truthful, a lot of people got Razor's Edge and Gotti confused. Because you'll hear a lot of people say Edge was dead because Edge was too big. And I'll be looking at him like, well, what dog did you have that was too big? Because most Edge dogs wasn't that big. Not as big as these dogs. Man, I'm telling y'all, remember seeing it was a flood in the streets of these dogs. See, when the trends change, so do the dog. I don't give a damn if you go stick him in the shelter. They're going to change that dog. They didn't want the Bandogg look no more. He was too big. I'm telling you, one of the things that were being said to me in Sacramento all the time was the dog is too big. That's what was being said to me in Sacramento all the time. The dog is too big. And like, what dog is too big? A pit bull? Because that's what Edge looked like, was a pit bull. But see, what happened was a lot of people started getting solid blue dogs. And those solid blue dogs wasn't Razor's Edge. It was filled up with Gotti. See, Gotti, well, the way I remember Gotti in California, when I used to see him, Gotti was 3 shades, man. Black, white, and silver, or blue. Didn't have no tiger stripes to it. It was just a big old dog. You could tell this dog was big, man. He was a big. My homeboy, man, he introduced me into his dog. It was a Gotti dog. And at that point in time, he weighed at least 210, 215. And that dog was pulling him. So, those kind of dogs were not needed in a small city like Sacramento. Okay? I mean, there was no way you needed dogs that you could put 2 of them together and they possibly could pull a tractor. No shit, man. There was some big dogs. They were different, though, than Razor's Edge dogs, because when you seen a Razor's Edge dog, he was damn near mostly brindle. And that's before people was looking at the eyes. He had these pretty eyes on him. He would have these pretty eyes, like these tight Chinese type eyes, man. Not Chinese, Oriental. Excuse me to, all my Asian folks, man. I don't be, getting down like that. You know what I'm saying? But he had them like Oriental tight, tight eyes. And they had them black noses. Black around the mouth. Lips and stuff was black. These dogs was nice. You couldn't confuse that dog with a Gotti dog because they looked totally different than each other. That's what happened in the bully game. People, just didn't like neither look, if you ask me, because they bred the dogs away. They didn't like Bandogg. Would you breed to a Bandogg? Because I keep getting off that topic too. I just wanted to know if you would breed to that Bandogg. If you would, though, man, let me know if you would breed to that Bandogg, because I would like to know. I would like to know, because he was a bigger dog. He did allegedly have some bulldog in there. But if you look at the game right now, we don't even have to allege which one of these dogs have bulldogs in it. You can see the head shape on a dog. Like I said, that round basketball shaped head like this dog over here, that round basketball shaped head, just a dead giveaway. And then just 13 inches and sometimes under. Come on, man. That damn near got some teacup chihuahua in there. For real. So if you would breed to a Bandogg, shit, that's another answer that would probably be yes, because you would want to give the dog a nose and make him dolichocephalic again. But if you're going to breed to the bully game, breeding it bully to bully, I would suggest you go find the best classic breeder out there, the best standard breeder out there. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just gonna say that, man. Go find one of the best classic, one of the best standard breeders out there. You could go get your pockets, because I like pocket dogs myself. I'm gonna get a pocket dog one day. You know, I'm a participate with the bully game, but it's raise his edge. You know what I'm saying? For real. And we're gonna talk about that dog, because that dog started this game. No joke. And it don't matter how you try to go around it to build a different dog. You really want to build edge, because he looked that pretty. Now, would you breed to the Bandogg is the question. Please let me know right here. Oh, Feist the Bali.